Hi, this is Jonathan from Clever Tiny Homes with Cole Peterson of Tiny Hookups. We're in Portland, and Cole is hooking up one of our Clever One lights. It's not here yet because it's doing the site work. There's a really cool site where they've got a home in front of me and then a really big backyard, and the home is going to be way back there. We'll show it. But I want to make this video really for Cole to explain what goes on in hooking up a tiny home, at least in Portland. So this is going to be fully permitted, fully legal in Portland, and we wanted to go into the details. So we've got a trench behind us. Let's jump into the trench and look at what's going on there.
Hey guys, so what we have here is a 3-inch ABS pipe. Tomorrow our plumber is going to be coming here and cutting into a section of this and then running new ABS for the sewer out in this trench. The code requirement in Portland is that the sewer always has to be 1 foot below grade, and it always has to be sloped downhill, so the water is always running downhill in the pipe, obviously. In this case, we're really lucky because the site is entirely sloped downhill towards this point, so that portion is really easy to hit. In other cases, sewer is oftentimes the most difficult of all of the 3 primary utilities for tiny homes because of that kind of gravitational drop requirement. And so if it isn't downhill, we literally have to find a portion of the property that has a sewer deep enough that we can tie into it with gravitational drop. We don't use macerating sewer pumps typically because they can break over time. Gravity will not break. It hasn't broken for thousands of years. We don't expect gravity to break anytime soon. Therefore, we always try to tie into the sewer where it's deep enough, which means sometimes we have to tie into the sewer all the way at the front of the property where it's diving down like 10 feet into the primary sewer lateral in the street. But that's what we do in order to ensure that we are able to use gravity. So in this case, the sewer is coming right around the back corner of the house, and we are going to then bring water and electric and Ethernet underneath of the house, or core drill through the foundation of the house. And what you see right here is like the stem wall of the house coming down to a load-bearing foundation. And so we're going to then drill through that load-bearing foundation into the crawl space of this house, and that is where we're going to get to water. Why am I going through all this? Because the code requirement is that water always has to be 2 feet below grade so that it doesn't freeze in the case of really cold conditions. That's Portland's requirement. That's going to vary by jurisdiction, but we have to always be 2 feet below grade for the water service. And then the electrical service is going to be running probably through the attic from the panel on the other side of the house, like 100 feet away, and then come down this wall. And then the code requirement is that the electrical service must always be 18 inches below grade when it's running underground. So we're going to run conduit that goes from this point in the trench. And so we're going to have water, sewer, electric, and then we'll also run conduit for Ethernet cable, which we're going to tie into the router in their primary house. There's like 3 different kinds of foundations that you would see out there in the world, right? There's the slab on grade construction, there's stem wall foundation, and there's basements. Basements are actually the best because usually there's going to be sewer like 8 feet down in that basement, or like 5 or 6 feet down below grade. And so it's no problem at all to stub that sewer line up the basement wall and then core drill through the basement wall, and you'll always have enough elevation drop at that point to get wherever you need to go. So it's always ideal for us if there's a basement on the property. If it's a crawl space, unfortunately, somebody's going to have to go inside that crawl space to run the water and the electrical through that crawl space into this trench. And so we're going to like drill through the wall, and there'll be one person inside, one person outside, and we'll be fishing that line through the wall. If it's a slab on grade, similarly, we're going to have to dig down underneath the lip of that foundation and then dig a hole or drill a hole through that foundation floor in order to always be 2 feet below grade. That's just what the code requires. All right, so what we have here is a sewer depth survey that was done prior to our beginning the work. This survey says you have a 3-inch ABS sewer that's 1 foot 8 inches below the ground, right where this flag is. So when we started to dig, we didn't have to like poke around to find the sewer because we knew it was going to be directly below this flag at 1 foot 8 inches. So, and lo and behold, there it is, directly below this flag at 1 foot 8. And then they put another flag here to say, hey, the sewer right here is 1 foot 6. So all things equal, like we want to tie in where it's deeper typically. So in some cases we're looking for places where we could tie into the sewer when it's 3 feet or 4 feet below ground, because we have to run that sewer on a flat property and we have to run it 100 feet. So we always need to make sure that sewer is sloping downhill. And so we have to do some calculations to determine that we're tying into the sewer at the right depth. So let's follow the trench uphill to where the sewer is actually going to terminate and all the infrastructure is going to terminate. We've walked 10 feet now. We're going to turn right and walk another 60 feet this way through the roots, massive roots that we had to excavate through. And you probably can't tell, but we're walking uphill as we do this, which is a good thing for us. We had to take out this section of fence because this property is quite big and it actually extends beyond this fence line to the backyard. All right, so we're walking up. This is about a 160-foot long trench, and Mike, our excavator, is just getting to the point where we're going to be terminating the trench right up here. He's actually right on top of where the sewer, water, and electrical are going to stub up. But essentially, he's going to dig a hole, and that hole is going to have a 4x4 post. That 4x4 post is going to be set into concrete, and we're going to mount an RV sub panel on it. Then we're going to have a heated hydrant, an H34 Woodford heated hydrant that has an anti-siphon backflow preventer on it. And that is to comply with code as far as ensuring that we have safe water, that it doesn't back up into the public water system. And then we're gonna have our sewer clean out, which is just gonna be this black ABS pipe that's gonna come up to grade. Once that stuff is installed, then the tiny house is gonna be parked here, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna connect the infrastructure from that tiny house to those 3 pieces of infrastructure. So this is gonna be for a Clever One Lite home, which is approximately 30 feet long. So we're gonna do a pad here that's gonna be, it's just flattened area, not with compacted gravel per se, but it's 10 feet wide and 30 feet long. And so that is where the tiny house is gonna eventually land, which has a glorious view that way of the woods, and it's a very scenic location within Portland. So this is a really nice location for a Clever One Lite. And that's basically it. It's a 1 week long job. We do excavation one day, plumbing the next day, then electrical, and then we have our inspection, and then we are backfilling. And that is essentially 5 workday job to do all the infrastructure. If it's easy to do infrastructure in your city like it is in Portland. That is not the case in a lot of jurisdictions, but that is what a typical Tiny Hookups job is for a tiny house on wheels in Portland.
All right, well, we're gonna dig we're digging this hole 24 inches deep to accommodate the water line frost cover, and everything else goes on top of it, and we're just digging it, basically digging it flat because it's going uphill. Gravity's gonna take over. Then the plumbers will come in and do their thing, and we'll come back after the fact and backfill it and call it a day. But everybody wants their sewer to flow downhill, you know, so. And then we'll continue this along the outside wall here and put a French drain in so it doesn't flood their little pad here, and it'll be good.